Hey, this is Brimster, and I am going to try some more Oswald. So I've been playing Last Epoch. I've really enjoyed it. I just beat Lagon, which is a fight that I really thought I would struggle with more than well, I did struggle with it a lot, but I thought I would struggle with it more than I did. So I'm pretty happy with that progress. But I am the same level as the boss, so cool. Still got to work on my gear. Now, I have spent some time over on Last Epoch Tools, making a much more extreme loot filter. So I'm going to load up that extreme loot filter. So if I go into loot filter, I've got version 2 of my loot filter there. I've got my basic, which is version 1. And I want to create a new filter. Now, if on here I export, copy to clipboard, paste clipboard contents, and I want to call this one Oswald V3 Extreme. And I will give it the same Oswald, and the color is fine. So this is my extreme filter, and I'll see. Hey Keith, I am actually not doing great at the moment. I'll be honest with you, I am not doing great at the moment, but we'll see how this goes. So this is my Oswald V3 Extreme filter, and we'll see how this goes. Now, I'm very tempted, because I'm a little bit drug nutted. I'm on massive doses of medication at the moment. Let me get back to my live stream so I can see what's going on. I'm very tempted. There was one I did, I thought, where I got a blessing that I thought was 49 dodge from Shadow of the Eclipse. This is the one I need to do, but that's Lagon, and I don't want to do... What I might do is I might go... Oh, I could see what I got from here. So this is the one I actually want to replace, I think. Although, maybe not. What I might do is I might go here. I actually want to do some of this again. What I might do is I might restart this, but I'm not planning on doing this the whole time. I actually have some other things I want to go and do. I hope I feel better soon too as well. But it's okay. So I am actually going to go do this, even though it means that I'm going to be facing Lagon again at some point. So this is going to reset. I'm going to go do this, which will reveal more beacons. So I need to summon my Spriggan. Shrine of the Frozen Hive. And let's go... So I should see a lot less stuff now. Well, I can't move at all. I don't know what was going on there. Whether that was a lag spike. Whether I got stunned. So this would be a good test. So I am still showing all, but all of these did not meet my criteria. Now there is, so that one did. So I probably want to look at that and see why. Now, I know that that's not it. So the reason this met my criteria is because it had strength, elemental resistance, and void resistance on it. So, now those boots don't actually meet my criteria. I wanted boots that had movement speed on them. But because it had strength, elemental resistance, and void resistance, that actually met my criteria. Wow, and it's got... Actually, those boots are pretty good. Although the ones I've got are good. So maybe I will just look at the items that it get, because I've been very, very strict on this loot filter. And then I can look at it after the run and see. And it's possible I've been too strict on the loot filter. Like you can see there were a bunch of items around, but my loot filter is saying, you don't want those. But every purple item that drops, I will show, because there's another build I'm looking at speccing into at some point, and I'm not seeing enough purple items at the moment that I'm too worried about manually filtering those. I'm not high enough level yet that I'm going to start including those in my filter. Beacon. Let's get all the mobs around it out of the way, because I won't be able to leave the circle. This is too far away, but they've got ranged attacks. So while I was in bed last night and feeling terrible, I actually sat down on Last Epoch Tools, a site that I have supported on Patreon, and built a loot filter which is literally specific on each type of item to the items that I think are good for my build, that have a number of affixes that are good for my build. As you can see, there's probably items around, but none of them match. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's fair. It's just the flashes were a problem. So Glyph of Despair. That's the Glyph of Hope. Glyph of Despair. Oh, that's the one that has a chance to seal an affix. So I got those boots. I got a quiver, which is not something I actually want. Cold damage, lightning damage. So lightning damage is going to be something I actually want for an up-and-coming build. I've got a few of those. I'm going to shatter that one, though. And this. So, strength, intelligence, elemental resistance. Now, it would never get as good. It would give me cold, elemental, and void resistance. I would lose a bunch of movement speed. Though I don't feel that movement speed is my problem. I would lose a bunch of attunement. Though I could potentially put attunement on it. It doesn't have a lot of forging potential. I'd lose a bunch of armor, and my armor is a bit of a problem at the moment. Again, I would be... I don't know. Actually, I wouldn't be losing that much armor. What resistance would I be losing? I'd be losing a bunch of poison resistance. I'd be losing 53 poison resistance. Gaining void. But those tiers are pretty low. I'd have to get a lot of lucky rolls, and I don't think it's good enough. But the stats are good. I'm going to make the problem go away. Okay, cool. So one thing I want to try here is I want to look at the map. And I want to figure out where the arena is. There's an arena somewhere in this game. The problem I've got is I don't know where... Champions Gate is there, which I've never been to. That's where the arena is. So I go to Columns Pass. Yeah, the Lagon fight. It was... I definitely had to figure out a way of coping. I think the fight was fair for most people. I just needed to figure out how it was fair for me. This is area level 47. I don't think I'm going to get anything in here that's going to be particularly good for me apart from rooms. Champions Gate. Another human. Got a problem? Sick of humans around the fortress. They keep spying and trying to get others to leave. But you're here talking with me, which means you're okay. You're also here to fight. I'm here to fight. Some arrived just to attack the Wangari. Other Wangari joined because they hate those humans. Petty fights that often lose. The tribe, the real ones, we always win. Just annoying the seed through the problems. There's a lot of people to talk to here. Here's the armor vendor.
Yes?
I can't complain. We've got the arena, which you've probably heard of by now. Fighting outside never happens anymore. We used to hate Sherry and Champions Gate, but soon we figured out it's easier to save our strength and fight inside. Over time, we saw the Wangari cared deeply each other. Also cared about having a good time. Similarly, I think they saw something in us, considered as part of their new tribe. Anyway, I want my stash. I want to go to keys, and I want to grab an arena key. What are all of these on the mini-map? Oh, training dummies. So you can come down here, and you can practice training against the different training dummies. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting battle, that's for sure. I was definitely finding that I was having to, rather than avoid the attacks, I was having to, when they happened, I was having to avoid them before they happened. Come to answer the call to human. What call are you talking about? Call of the arena. Some of us came and fought the beasts inside to grow strong. New leaders emerged soon after. When Gary belonged to the middle of a fight, surrounded by tribe, they make us tribe. So I believe you basically fight in here until you die. Even humans come, they part of a tribe too, we hear the call.
Hello.
Gods be damned, wouldn't happen to have a drink, would you? What happened to you? I fought in the arena, obviously. So, endless arena. Each attempt in the arena requires a key. Dying or leaving through a portal fails the attempt. I can only do a level 50 arena. Fight through 40 waves of monsters, culminating in a fight against an arena champion. Okay? 40 waves, huh? Tell you what waves you're up to. Could be an interesting question. Five waves completed. Collect your loot and move onwards. Attempt harder waves. Pin waves completed. Oh, it gives you a stash in case there's stuff to put in. The arena champion drops exalted jewelry. I'll try exalted jewelry. Ooh, new. We've changed venue, ladies and gentlemen. I've not done the arena before, so I really don't know what to expect. So I'm now at arena level 50. So does this mean the arena levels just keep going up? What level do they go up to? Okay. None of that loot matches my loot filter. The final level of this is an infinite arena, where you can literally just keep going. Oh, that's right. It's go until you die if you do... Oh, it says wave 20 at the top. So the loot just dropped, but none of it was good, is that right? Looks like. Like I'm not seeing anything to bash this time. Arena Champion drops many rare pieces of jewelry, exceptional exalted items. Oh, let's try that. What are the shrines? Experience, that'll be good for an arena. A stunning shrine. Where are the mobs? Oh, okay. Shards. Continue. Harder waves. Oh, okay, it's still level 50. It's just... "30 waves completed. Battle Mage's Endeavour. I can put that in my uniques section. Transfer my crafting items and continue. 180%. Let's go for it. I'm doing low level, so I can take 180%. Except the boss is going to kick my ass, isn't it? I'm out leveling it by 20 levels. Surely I can cope with this. Whoa! Elfric Wolfmore. Oh. Okay, maybe I can't deal with this. I can't move. He stunned me and I was just dead. I got insta-stunned and insta-killed on a level 50 boss. Okay, so why would anyone try the arena? So, I mean, I look at my character. My stun avoidance is 25. And while I've been told you want to get your stun avoidance up a little bit, these are the things that matter. My physical resistance is... I mean, you want to get your physical resistance and stuff up and everything, but there's no, like, magic thing to get them up. And I out-leveled this by 20, and I still could get, like, insta-stunned to the point where I couldn't move, and then I just died instantly. Hey, Ratfinks. So... Okay, so the 180% was a mistake. But why offer that as an option if it's going to kill someone who's 20 levels higher? Because there was no avoidable stuff there. He was just doing it to everyone. It was literally just stun everything and do instant AoE. There was no avoidable stuff on a melee character. Maybe it's if you know the bosses, there are different classes that can take different bosses, but I'd already had to make the choices before I knew what it was. I'm very confused. I also don't like the fact that storing your keys is so far away from... Let's... So I failed the tier 1, so I have to try another tier 1. How are you, Ratpeaks? At the moment, I am actually not great, but it's fine. I mean, I'm definitely not at my best, which possibly had something to do with it. And I made a stupid choice. Oh, no. I need to pick up my loot. Of which there is none. Okay, cool. Collect my loot again. So some runes. Continue. I think I could deal with 60. 40 and 60. As long as I don't do that too many times.
Submit.
I don't know where it put my stash. Oh, it's there. So the loot was obviously here. That's the loot.
You have no chance. Submit. You have no chance.
No more runes. Sorry to hear that, Rat Things. Things are just weird. It's just the way things are for me sometimes. A lot of pressure from YouTube. I tried to come up with a compromise for it. I've had a lot of negative pushback from theoretical fans. I just don't know what to do. So on Brem Puzzles, there's been a lot of pressure for me to turn on memberships to the point where I was getting messages on my dashboard almost daily. Like, you haven't done this yet, why haven't you done this yet? Notifications about the fact that my channel's not complete, all sorts of stuff. They finally turned on a feature that I feel is like, okay, maybe I can offer something of vague value. Because I didn't want to do it while I didn't think I was offering value. But I didn't want it to replace Patreon. I didn't want it to be I didn't want to annoy my Patreon supporters or any of that sort of stuff. So it was a really tricky decision. I did it. I unfortunately then sent out the Patreon notification while I was heavily medicated, made a typo, and had a whole bunch of Patreon supporters leave. And it's like, I didn't want... So if there's a level 70 character, I can't beat a level 50 arena boss. I'll never be able to do arena. So it's another section of the game I just can't do. Like, I can't see this. There's just too much light flashes going on. Like, this is just noise. This is just visual noise. There's not anything to dodge. The entire screen is just full of flashes that make everything invisible. Okay, so I got another arena key, which is fine. Physical resistance, which is something I am weak on. Crit strike avoidance, that's potentially better. Healing effectiveness. Fire damage, which... So that ring... is potentially better than the one I'm using, apart from that increased fire damage. And the amulet isn't. Because I'd lose elemental and void resistance. But I can put the arena key in. Ten necrotic resistance seems weird, so I don't want to keep that. That's just not. But that ring might be good. Particularly if I can... This is a gamble. Can I... do that? Then use Glyph of Hope. Now, on a necklace... Sorry, I'm just bringing up my... I mean, I could put physical damage on it. But I possibly need resistances. It's got physical resistance. What's the other... no, it's a prefix, so I can't do that. So I want a prefix. So, forge. Physical damage is potential... Oops, let's look at that again. Physical damage is particularly a good one. Strength is particularly a good one. What is my character's... Although the one I'm... Oh, this is a ring. Let's try strength. Now, these are all tier... Oh, Lord, that tossed 16 forging potential. I'm doomed on this. This went terribly. Okay, that went better. And that's now bricked. That actually didn't go too badly. Tier 4, Tier 5, Tier 4, Tier 6. So if I compare that now, healing effectiveness is much higher. I've got strength instead of minion damage. I've got more crit strike avoidance. I've got more physical resistance. That ring is just an upgrade. And now if I look at my stats, my physical resistance is over. So I can take this physical resistance off. And I can potentially put some void resistance on. That. And now my resistances are over in some places. I need to remove from fire resistance from somewhere. Like I've got 70 from there. Physical res is close. Physical res. Void is dead on. Physical cold is not there. Okay, so this has got my resistances up. Yeah, I just need to figure out what's going on there. Yeah, I just had a couple of people cancel on Patreon, which is fine. So I might try another arena key at the next level up. I mean, I'm going to get my art handed to me, but that's okay. I shouldn't have put the key in, should I? I'm going to... Although that ring just got replaced, I'll put the ring up here. The whole point about the YouTube membership was I can do a couple of, and it's not on this channel for people who are seeing this in future. The whole point about the YouTube membership is, oh, I actually have a new YouTube member, which is awesome. But the whole point was early release videos. So when I post videos in advance, I can schedule them as member. So I'm going to get absolutely owned on this one. I'm going to fail this. I know I am, but that's okay. The whole point is when I schedule my videos like in advance, which I do quite often, I can release them to members and still schedule them so members can see them early if they want, which I thought was a cool feature. But I don't... Now, I could always have done that, but I would have had to have released them manually, which is annoying. I didn't want to have to do that. Now I can actually have them go from members only to public at a particular time, so that's kind of cool. So that was really nice. really nice feature for me. I have done some content which at the moment is YouTube members only, but I'm going to try and figure out if I can release them for Patreon. It's just the Patreon video release system is terrible. Like, oh my lord, terrible. Like, they've announced this beautiful feature. It's like, you can release videos for your members. And it's like one video per post. The video is incredibly limited. I did a preview of it, and the video is hard to watch. The browser compatibility is terrible. It's just so bad. Can't even see what the shrines were. Okay, so there's the loot and none of it is good for me. Continue. I just feel every decision I'm making is either annoying YouTube, which is kind of the death of a channel, or annoying my fans, which is the death of a channel. None of that any good. Continue. Harder waves. I'd love to get exalted weapons, but I think the 60% increased damage is going to kill me. Particularly when I get to the boss.
Submit.
Wait a minute.
Gaza has entrusted this to me.
I agree, I have no chance. It's okay. Whatever. I mean, it's an ARPG. That's what things are like. It is actually quite different in its design, but the fundamental concepts are the same. I was looking at also doing some of the new Cyberpunk patch at some point too, and doing a third playthrough. It's the Arsenal guy again. This is the guy that kicked my ass last time at a lower level. I can't... Why are my abilities not working? Got him. And he dropped absolutely no items of use. But I got some crafting items and a new arena key. Okay. Well, that was interesting. And I've done it now. Now, there are other dungeons that I need to make sure I've unlocked the waypoints to. So Soulfire Bastion is one of them. So let's go to the Risen Gate and then work up to Soulfire Bastion so I can actually teleport there. That's not the way I want to go, is it? I mean, not really. I want to find the entrance to the felled wood. Felled wood. Just trying to get up to the area where the dungeon is. So it's a belt, but it doesn't have, yeah, it doesn't have any stats. that are useful to me. Here is a waypoint. I want to pick that up. So now I've got the waypoint for this on the map. Well, apparently I didn't have the waypoint for Ruins of Etendel. Soulfire Bastion. Our founds did it.
Hey, you. Over here. A living so far from one of the cities. Though I shouldn't be surprised. I saw how easily you tore through our ranks.
Why are you not
Be
attacking
at
me?
ease. I have no desire to fight you. Even if I did, this would be no place for me to draw weapons. Some Imperial commanders are, how should I say, touchy about others acting in their territory. My friend running the Soulfire Bastion here, Cremorus, is particularly sensitive about this sort of thing. Which reminds me, I had a reason for striking up this conversation. Not that it hasn't been pleasant so far. You put a smile on my face if we undead weren't always grinning. Simply put, Cremorus has been experimenting with a new form of soul magic in there. Very interesting stuff. Could revolutionize how we process souls for power.
But
Unfortunately for Cremorus, my patron would not be very pleased by his success. And I happen to have met a living adventurer with a knack for slaying undead. Isn't that right? So what do you say? Barge in there in the name of the living, wreck up the place, and put Cremorus out of commission for a while. Now I even sweeten the deal a little. Bring me some of those soul embers he was experimenting with, and I'll see what I can trade you for them. I knew you living still had grey matter sloshing around up there for a reason. Best decision you've ever made. Feel I need to warn you though. There is a bit of fire in there. And when I say a bit, I mean he keeps an inferno stocked in that place. Not to mention the necrotic fires he's been experimenting with. The soul embers may be able to help you though. Burn one of those soul embers up and you may be able to protect yourself from the fires in there. Though from what I've seen, it only protects you from one type at a time. You'll figure it out. Oh, you're not the first living I've made this deal with. Here's to hoping you're the first one to meet me at the other end of this place. May the immortal Emperor smile on you.
so if I grab a Soulfire Bastion key, so this has cold resistance. Has quite a lot of cold resistance. Void resistance, which is there. Not a lot of void resistance though. Also not a lot of void resistance. Elemental resistance, which I think I was putting down here. And that's terrible elemental resistance roll. But, so, apparently the way this dungeon works is you put the key in. Level 45, so I've got an advantage there. But there's still mechanics in here that will one-shot me. Make this go away. So what key? It's D. It swaps the shield. So fire shield. Careful, there's a fire attack that would probably one-shot me. Why am I out of air there? I can't tell what the necrotic or the void stuff I'm supposed to be. I thought I was maxed on all my skills. New modifier. First item purchased from the Soul Gambler has a 30% chance to be a unique or set item. Okay. Wait, what? Glad I changed the fire then. Apparently in the final fight you have to very quickly change between fire and I think it's necrotic resistance and stuff and get all that right very accurately. I imagine I would do badly at it. That was both fire and necrotic at the same time. So I had to avoid one and use the shield to avoid the other. Okay. I'm definitely feeling the medication has slowed me down. That's not a excuse for doing badly, it's just a reason. Like, I'm not playing at my best, and my best is normally not very good anyway. I have found... I want to get out of combat so I can read that. I can't read it again? You found a faded letter protected from harm by wards.
My genius astounds me. In addition to all the perfect qualities of this location I have relayed to you before, the depths under this mountain are potent with elemental fire. I have managed to infuse souls with elemental fire, and rather than burn to ash, I have transfigured them into a powerful new form. With this power, we may solve the dread question that hangs over the Empire's throat. By igniting souls into these soul embers, we will no longer harvest essence too fast to replace. We will finally be able to supply soul essence to the wretches who have gone mindless. I have saved the Empire. I will take your failure to respond to these letters as an admission of my superiority. I will advise that you may save face by professing my greatness now, before the Emperor hears of my achievement himself.
I didn't think these could go up, but okay. I really don't know where to spend that point. I need to... There is a better build that I should try, apparently, but I'm enjoying this one for now. Wow, okay. Great time to come out of bear form. I can feel myself slowing down. Something is definitely messing with my reflexes. Stupid medication. Doing a new boss for the first time at the same time as I'm slowing down. Came out of bear again? How am I not generating rage? What is it about this dungeon that means that I'm... Like, is there something in here that's draining rage? Or... getting good shards in here. This place is huge. Where's the exit door? I think this is the biggest dungeon I've found in this place. I'm out of bear again. And that's a dead end. Look at the size of this map. I've no idea where the exit is. These are dead ends. So you could literally run around forever, or for ages. I don't know which way to go. There's a door. I found a door. I also found a message. I don't... Ugh! Okay. Oh, there's two doors right next to each other. So the lowest affix, or forging potential for each other soul code, roll twice and pick the higher value. I think that one sounds great. Now this is the boss fight, I think. You have found the faded letter protected from hard by wards.
Something is wrong with the soul embers.
Hey Heliopolis.
The test subjects react as expected when exposed to the soul embers. At first, the flames then begin to consume the body in order to fuel the soul ember within. This leads to rapid immolation. A minor setback, nothing more. Until I devise a means to better stabilize the soul embers, the addition of a way to consume outside sources of fuel rather than our own bodies will suffice.
I think I'm getting sick.
Before you dare to gloat over this, do not forget the trouble your pets in the north gave you before you brought them to heel. This will be nothing compared to that embarrassment.
Okay, which way am I supposed to go? This way. Proceed.
Come to play with fire.
So it's avoid those effects. Whatever colour the floor is, I need a shield of that colour. When there is a ring,
Death surrounds you. Inferno. The fire.
boots, ring. Cool. Okay, well, I was doing it at an incredibly low level, so... You have found a faded letter protected from harm from wards.
The flames are powerful, but they hunger. They burn. I had long forgotten the sensation, but now I feel my soul.
At this point, Heliopolis, I would probably wait until the release on the 21st, but this has been really good with a couple of exceptions.
There must be something I'm overlooking. Some way to make them work. If I could only concentrate, the flames are everywhere. The fire is inside me now. Do you remember how it felt to be cold? Back before we had the Emperor's gift, we used to play in the snow, didn't we? Formosus, tell me you remember. Please.
Search for the Fire Lich. So this is the gambler.
Fantastic work. Formosus will clatter with delight when I give him my report. Now about those soul embers. Care to let me see your hole, friend?
So what I feel I desperately need... So I got a ring, gloves, which is Weaver's Will gloves. Interesting. So let's go for a belt. No, there's no belt on offer.
Lucky you.
So I got a bone harvester. Not really happy with that. What else might I want to roll?
Oh, lucky you.
That's not great. Now, apparently for this build that I want to move to, I don't know what I want to roll on. This is the problem. I should have gone in with a plan. Let's try two-handed mace again.
Yeah, lucky you.
Gloves, maybe?
Oh, lucky you.
poison resistance is not what I want. Gloves again, maybe?
Oh, lucky you.
Gloves again, maybe?
Well spent.
Isadora's Grave Chill. Now, the one I want for the other build on gloves, Crusader Gauntlets. I don't think I can get them at this level, which is fine. So maybe I should hold on to some of these tokens. Yeah, I'm just going to call that for now. I learned a bit more about how the mechanic works, which is interesting. And to leave here now, what do I click on? Divine Era. Yeah, we had them last night, I think. I don't know what this search for the file lich is. I did not find that at all. Now, I think there's other dungeon location that I haven't unlocked. No. I think I've been to all of them now. Yeah, Lightless Arbor I've been to. Soulfire Bastion I've been to. What's the other one? Arena I've been to. There is another dungeon. I have to admit, Temporal Sanctum, and I've been to. So I've been to all of the locations. I have to admit, I am not a fan of this mapping system. Yeah, this game is really, really cool. The item creation system and everything here. So I could look at these items and I could turn around and say, are any of these worth looking at? So dodge rating armor, those boots are not. But for example, let's say, I don't think any of these are particularly good. Actually, I don't think any of these are particularly good to do a demo with. But let's quickly run one of these, and then I can try and do a quick... Resets Echo Web. I've never done one of these, so let's give it a shot. Oh, reset the echo. Oh, I've got to fight him. I've heard this boss is quite tricky. I don't know how it works. I didn't realise this was the Shade of Oribis fight. Didn't realise I was going to be fighting a boss in here.
Why do you resist?
Oops. Where'd he go? He went there. Because I've got good resistances. That's why I resist. There's almost no time to react to those fire circles, is there? Like, they appear and then they're just gone.
This has happened before.
I got a ring,
We will both continue.
which has some legendary potential. Okay, so let's pick this up. Resistance was not futile. So, one thing I like about this is basically is if you can afford them, you've almost got unlimited stash tabs. So I could put these exalted weapons in and say, these are the exalted weapons I've got. And if I wanted more exalted storage, I could just buy it. Uniques. So I've had one of these before. This one has legendary potential, which means that I could turn it into a unique. Sorry, this is a unique with legendary potential, which means I could turn it into a legendary item by running a dungeon and combining it with another item, and it would inherit 2 stats from that item, which means it has potential to be even better. That's a really cool concept. Weaver's Will, like this had, means that as you use it, it will get better, which is a really lovely concept. I absolutely adore that as a concept. So, yeah, I think that's just really cool. Now, the items I wanted... I don't think I've got the item I wanted for... So, yeah, I haven't seen any of the items I wanted for the other build I play. But now I can go to my set tab. I already have a pair of those gloves. Don't know which one to keep. Idols, this is... I need to go through and clean out my items, and these boots weren't great. But I can run something. Actually, I need to clear out all of this junk. This is all junk, and I need to clear it out. But...
Yes.
Let's do some admin. I want you. I want you. I want you. I want you. Thank you. So...
Care.
I mean, I'll use a trash item as an example here. So, I'm assuming Heliopolis is still here. The way that crafting works is you put an item... Hey, Eric, if you put an item into your crafting section, and the first thing you could do is you could do a shatter and you could get some affix shards from it. Now, I don't want to do that, but what you have is you have these affix shards down here, and these are stats that you can put onto the item. Now, it comes with these 3 stats already: melee damage, chance to slow on hit, and health on kill. There are things I could do with glyphs or with runes to try and modify those as you get these as drops. But I could say I want to increase the melee damage on this weapon. So I could say I want to use a melee damage affix shard. I've only got 22 of them, but I could do that. And when I do that, it would consume 1 to 12 of its forging potential. It has 26 in order to increase the melee damage that this weapon has. Or I could choose here and I could say I want to make this do more damage over time, and it would add damage over time to the weapon, consuming some of its forge potential. You can use some of the glyphs to say it's got a chance of not using it, or that it might randomly change it to something else, or all sorts of things that you could do. But there's all sorts of things you can do to change what something has. So if you get an item that is pretty good, you can then adjust pretty much everything to do with the item to make it much closer to what you want. And as a concept, concept, that is really good. So what you're doing is you're hunting for items that are close to perfect and then trying to use its forging potential to make it even better. And that's just amazing as a concept. So this got completely re-rolled. Oh, so complete re-roll is a complete re-roll. And I could go fight that guy again, but I don't want to. That's cool. Oh, and it's now level 76 because it's corruption. Oh, okay. So it was level 75, now it's level 76 because it's got harder? I think I'm understanding. So even if you're doing normal difficulty, so nightmare difficulty... Okay, so nightmare difficulty pushes it up. Starts it at 100, but as corruption goes up, the difficulty of... Whoa. Why? So I added corruption to it. Okay, I'm doing badly now. So because it's now got more corruption, its default level is higher. Oh, that's messy. Yes, it means you need to be reasonably lucky. On top of this, you can build a loot filter. And your loot filter can be incredibly complex. Like I'm turning around and saying, I want to see only 6 types of ring that have 3 or more tiers with only of the 18 affixes that I'm interested in. So let me just get something here. So I want to get to a point where there's some loot on the road. Happen soon. Because loot drops like candy in this game, you don't want anything that is absolute garbage for you. So there's a whole bunch of loot on the ground here. See all this stuff? Here is a Staff of Stillness. It's a staff which I'm not using, so I'm not showing staves at all. So I'm not using staves at all. It's got void damage, which I'm not using, cast speed, which I'm not using, and stun chance, which I don't really care about. So I'm not looking for that item. So I've written my loot filter that it won't show up. Now, I can hold down a button to show everything, which is my X key, but so I can see that that exists. But because it's not an item with particular stats or of a type that I'm looking for, it just never shows. Like, I can see it's on the ground. You can see the loot there with all of its shinies, but it's not popping up. So you can write incredibly complicated loot filters. As you can see, this has got all sorts of stuff. I'm showing all sorts of weird stuff so that only things that are of interest to you show up, which is absolutely stunning for a game like this. Now, I need to seal the storm gate. On top of that, unlike Diablo 4, which has an incredibly simple build system. Okay, so I've conquered the Echo. So these are the shards that you use to do the crafting. And you pick them up and they go into your bag and then you just transfer them. So I've got these Storm-Tide boots. Movement speed, shock, lightning hit, shock duration. Those are not good for me, but they're unique, so I'll put them aside. Here is a ring I got. Crit strike chance, poison damage, dodge rating. Not terrible, but I'm not using crit strike chance heavily. Physical resistance and the attunement from here are better stats for me. But on top of that, not only do you have, when you take your class, I'm playing a primalist. When you get partway through, you pick your specialty. I'm playing a druid, but I could have played beastmaster or shaman. So in my primalist, I bought some points. When I got to a certain level, I specialized in druid, and I spent some points in druid. And as you skill up, you can spend more of these points. You can also spend points in the other specializations below the chain. So I could never buy any of these, because to buy these I needed to be a beastmaster, and to buy these I needed to be a shaman. But you can pick up a little bit in the things you're not specialized in, because you are a primalist. But beyond that, when you take skills, so these are the skills, I'm a werebear, so I'm showing my werebear skills at the moment, but when you take your skills, and these are your skills that you have, these are the primalist skills, these are the things that have been unlocked by being a primalist, these are my beastmaster skills I've unlocked, and these are the druid skills I've unlocked. You can then attach these skills to your specializations, and in your specializations you then pick what you want those skills to be. So you improve those skills in a way that works for your build. So it allows you to control the way each independent skill works, and every single one of these skills can be customized for the way you want it to work. So the number of builds you can make are absolutely stunning, and I have seen literally 30 or 40 different druid builds in a very short time that I've spent looking at this. It's absolutely amazing. Then I just learned got a basic idea of how corruption works, because I just got my first corruption points. So when you complete the campaign, which took me about 12 hours, apparently people who've been playing the game for thousands of hours can do it in like 2 or 3, but whatever. I wanted to actually experience the story, so I was letting all the characters talk and everything. You go into the echo system. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but you go into the system where you're doing these echoes. You are moving around doing these levels, trying to build up this stability. Doing this stability allows you to progress towards doing the quests for the echo. Doing the echo, or the echoes and completing the quests allows you to get a blessing from it, which is just a permanent character buff. Getting the character buffs is just a permanent buff. It'll present you with a random one each time you do it. When you get to level 100 and you unlock the nightmares, or when you complete the highest levels of echoes, you can then unlock nightmare echoes, which are level 100 versions. But you can also get to the point where you are earning corruption. I just got my first corruption points by defeating a reset boss in here, and that makes them harder again. So there's this constant push for an increase in difficulty in here, because all of the loot that drops is based on the level of the area. So this area just got a little bit tougher because I increased the difficulty. So as you get more powerful, the area can get more powerful, so you can get more powerful, and it's an incremental... Holy cow. A whole bunch of stuff showed up through my loot filter. And the end game progression system just feels rewarding for doing stuff. Why is that red? I don't know. And I'm sure I'll eventually get to the point where you can customize my loot filter. So the purple items are called exalted items, and they are items you can only get. So each affix goes from 1 to 5 craftable, but when you hit higher levels, you can get exalted items where an affix can randomly drop, and you can only get it as a drop at tier 6 or tier 7. You can never upgrade to tier 6 or tier 7. So an exalted item has a tier 6 or a tier 7 stat, and I'll show you that in a second. Once I get out of here. Rune of research and nothing of interest to me. So, oh, that's still not maxed out my stability. I just need a couple more points, then I'll leave and show you what, if I can remember what I was talking about. That did it. I just need to get out of cover.
Submit. This save me.
Increased physical damage shard. That's a good one for me. So, okay. So, pick up the rewards. Pick up the rewards. Okay. So, what was I talking about? I can transfer my crafting items. So there was something I was talking about. Ah, yes. So we can see here the purple stat is increased dodge rating. So I can see here that I've got an 83% increased dodge rating, but it's tier 6. I can't mouse over that, but you can see underneath where it says the increased dodge rating, that's tier 6, which I could never increase to. So that dropped at tier 6, and you could only get that as a drop. So this item will have a higher dodge rating than anything I could craft to. Similarly, this weapon has increased melee strike chance at tier 6, and it's rolled at the top end. So tier 6 is 13 to 15%, and it's 15%. So it's the best I could get at tier 6. I'm not high enough level yet to get tier 7. So what that means is if I wanted to improve that weapon even better on the other stats, so if I wanted to add a 4th stat to it and use its 43 forging potential to make the other stuff better, then this weapon would be better than anything I could get on a yellow because it's got that tier 6 stat. So eventually what you might do with your forging, with your loot filter, is turn around and say, only show me exalted items that have the tier 6 or 7 stat, or tier 6 or better stat of the thing that is the most important stat on my weapon. So I may turn around and say, on this build, the most important thing is increased physical damage. So, and the weapon doesn't have tier 6 or 7 increased physical damage, don't show it to me at all. I don't care. So you can be incredibly specific on your stats. That has a stat I want, and I don't see very often, so I'm going to shatter that. That doesn't. That doesn't. That doesn't. Hopefully in that Heliopolis you don't miss the description I just wanted to give you. Interesting to know I can reset this at any time because there's a reset right next to it. So 5 corruption gave me an extra level. That's interesting. And the shrines in this are really cool as well because they're frequently everywhere. And the number of different classes and builds that are out there. So that item was showing because it has 3 stats of 3 of its 4 stats are ones that I'm using in my build. Otherwise it wouldn't have shown. So I'm picking it up and I'll look at it later. And I don't know if every 5 corruption increases the level by 1. I don't know if that's how it works. I don't know if there's a cap to it. I just don't know. I'm still learning. One of the things that this game definitely suffers from is a lot of the beginner guides that I found early on, and I've only been playing it for a week, were very much a case of, assuming that you knew the game already or had been playing it. There was one beginner guide that in the first 90 seconds was talking about what happens when you hit level 80. I'm not level 80 yet, and this is what, session 15 for me? It was a beginner guide for people who don't need beginner guides. It's just dumb. But there's a guy who's doing a series called Last Epoch University, and those have been stunning. He started releasing them only very recently, and they've been great. Hey, Ken. Thank you, everyone, for keeping me company. I really need it today. I'll be honest with you, today is a day I would really have... Like 2 years ago, 2 years ago I would have been going to see Hamilton. Actually, I wouldn't have, because Hamilton wasn't here yet. It was close. But 2 years ago, I would have been contacting my father and said, let's do something, because I am really out of sorts today. And I don't know what to do. I just don't know what's going on in my head. Part of me is tempted to start a third Cyberpunk playthrough. But I'm really enjoying this game. And I kind of want to play the Druid for a bit, because when, on the 21st of February, the game is released officially, and anyone who's interested in this, I would highly recommend, at this point, probably wait for the release. I was going to, but I kept seeing such good things about it. Although, buying the game now and playing around with its systems so that when it's released you understand them, definitely worthwhile. And you can play this with people as well. Like, I'm playing on the Australian servers. I don't know what would happen if you played it with others. Now, the other thing this game is doing is when the game is released, they're introducing a faction system in order to deal with the different ways that people play the games. So they did some polling of player bases to find out, how do people like to play games like this? Do they prefer to be able to trade items, or do they prefer to play solo? And they found that it was almost an even 50-50 break between people who want to play it completely solo, not have to worry about trading, not have to worry about dealing with any form of doing it. They just want to sit down, play the game, and that's what they want to do. That's just it. Ooh, I got a level. I don't get those very often at the moment. I am currently skilling in Druid, and I'm buying points there. Okay. So, and people who actually want to... Oh, it's this guy again. But I do want to max out my stability. And people who want to trade, and people who want to play completely on their own, or just with a small group of friends. So what they did is they put a faction system in, or they haven't yet, but they will when the game releases. So when you get sort of 80% of the way through the game, through the campaign, which is probably for a new player, it'll be about 6 hours, I reckon. Maybe 8 for people who've played it before, probably 4 to 6. You're going to make a choice of which faction you want to join. If you join the circle of trading or something, or the merchant's guild, if you join the merchant's guild, as you fight monsters, you'll earn favour with the merchant's guild, and you'll and you will rank up with the Merchants Guild, and as you gain ranks you will be able to go to their traders and trade higher and higher level items. I should be stopping, I have completed it. So for example, at the beginning you will be able to trade normal and magic items, and then you'll be able to trade rare items, and then you'll be able to trade more and more items, idols and stuff like that. So as you progress and gain favor, you'll be able to trade more items right up until the point where you're able to trade your legendary items. But any item that you trade is going to get flagged as requiring that rank. So if you sell or buy an item on the Merchants Guild that requires rank 10 of the Merchants Guild, you need to be rank 10 with the Merchants Guild to use that item. The other one is going to be called the Circle of Favor or something. And when you're playing that one, what it's going to mean is, those gloves, they've got attunement, health, and physical resistance, which is why I have them. Ooh. Which might allow me to take some of that off. Am I over on necrotic? I'm over on necrotic. I could replace that hat at some point. Ooh! No, wrong scepters. Oh, they're wands. That's got stats I want though. Shatter it. Okay. So if you go into the loot faction, then as you gain favor, so as you kill stuff, then you will start getting more and more rewards. So you might get double drops of certain types of items. You might have a higher chance of getting higher tiers on items. You might get all sorts of stuff like that. So the items that drop for you, because you're not trading for items, so you can't go to the merchant and just buy the items that are better for you, there's the chance of you finding the items that are good for you will go up and up and up, because items will just drop better for you. But the items that drop for you that are bonuses because of your guild ranking will have a flag on them down in the bottom corner, which you can't see, but there'll be a flag down where it says requires level 67. It would have a flag on it with a rank of the guild that is required for you to use it. Now, which means that if you leave, because you can swap faction that you're part of, but if you do that, any item that you got as part of the other faction, you couldn't use. So if you had say, when you get an item, there is a chance that it will roll an extra tier 7 rank for whatever. And if it didn't roll that bonus and the item was just a normal drop, it wouldn't have that requirement. But if it did get that, then it would then basically be, in order to do this, you need to be this rank in that guild. So if you just stayed in that guild, you'd be fine. Now, the other thing they're adding, which I think is absolutely stunning, that one, please. The other thing that they're doing, which I think is absolutely stunning, is they are they're making it that because you sometimes play with other players, so say you're saying, for example, that you're interested in playing with your wife, and often you're playing an ARPG with someone, and say you're playing with your wife, and your wife turns around and says, I need to go and... Okay, let's do it the other way. Let's not be sexist here. You're playing with your wife, and you're really enjoying it, but one of you need to go cook dinner. And she says, I'm going to keep playing for a bit because, I want to. You cook dinner, I'm going to just do a couple more echoes solo. While you're playing together, there is a chance that an item will drop, and I can't remember the exact name of it, but there is a chance that an item will drop, which is basically a connection between the two of your characters. And it might be characters, it might be accounts. I'm not sure. But there's a connection between the two of you as an item. And what that means is, normally in an ARPG, in order to be able to trade an item between two people, they both need to be there when the item drops. However, with the item that drops while you're together, what it means is, say you've been playing together and you've each got two of, or maybe, apparently they're quite rare. So say you've each got one of these items that's dropped, or you've got an item that's dropped that links your account to hers. So it's just a key that connects your account to hers. Then what will happen is, if you go to cook dinner and she's got one of these items, I know I'm not explaining this well, I'm also concentrating on playing. She's got one of these items, you go to cook dinner, and immediately after you log off, or 5 minutes after you log off, the perfect item for your character drops on her account. So she gets the item that drops that you've been looking for 10 hours. And normally in an ARPG, it would just be, oh my god, why did I do it? And they would be full of regret. With this, she can trade that item to you by expending that key, because it is a connection that indicates that you two play together quite often. So she then turns around and says, well, what we will do is I use that key, I put the item into the gift window with that key, and I gift that item to you. So it allows you to trade items between people who play together regularly, even if the other person isn't there. And I think that is just absolutely amazing. It's the sort of thing that is clearly them turning around and going, what is it that people who play these sort of games have as regular bugbears, and how do we deal with that? Limited transferability for a regular partner. And if you play together 80% of the time, you will probably have a stash tab. And remember, you can just buy extra stash tabs. So say I want another unique stash tab, I can turn here. This is going to cost me 90,000, so I may not want to, because my stash tabs aren't fully organized. I need more gold. But I need to organize my stash tabs. But you just turn around and if you play together 80% of the time, then it will just mean you may have a stash tab which is full of a dozen of these things, and in the 20% of the time that you're not playing together, if an item drops, you just make sure your loot filter includes the dream items for your partner. And if an item drops for your partner, you pick it up, you put it into the stash tab with all their keys, and when they turn up, you just gift it to them. Now, I don't know how gifting works, but I haven't looked into it because I've never played with anyone. But it just works. And as a concept, it's absolutely fantastic. But of course, you only earn those, I can't remember what they're called, but I can't remember what they're called. They've got a name. But you only earn those things while you're playing with that person. And it's great. So all of a sudden, there's none of this panic about, because I remember playing Diablo with Fel, and there was always this terrible concept of we always had to play together. If one of us wanted to play while the other one wasn't there, then it was like, oh my god, if the perfect item for the other person drops while they're not there, and it would happen all the time. Like, Fel would be playing a witch doctor. Why am I keep coming out of bear form? Fel would be playing a witch doctor. I would be playing my crusader, and I would see a perfect, like, even though there is a much lower chance of a witch doctor item dropping while I was on a crusader, because that's how Diablo 3 worked, I would see a perfect witch doctor item drop. Like, I think got a primal one time, and it was like that. I just felt terrible about it, and it was like I think she logged off one time literally to make dinner, and about 3 minutes later I just turned around and said, I'm just going to do a quick greater rift, and at the end of it a primal witch doctor item of the build that she was using dropped, and it was like, are you kidding me? Like, are you absolutely kidding me? And it was just a terrible feeling. But with this system, like, if you're interested in trade, and if you're interested in being able to get items and turn them around and play the economy and everything, you can do that. If you have no interest in that, like I don't, you completely avoid that system and you play kind of solo self-found. Although there is apparently going to be a full solo version where you can literally say, I can't even party with people. And then there's going to be a version where you join the guild, and in the guild you can't trade at all, except for this limited thing where you are doing it with can trade limited with people you play with regularly. Now, it's important to note that if you do that, and the person you play with would need to be in the same guild and at the same rank. So if you had an item drop that required rank 8 of the Circle of Fortune, and they were only rank 6 of Circle of Fortune, you could hand it to them, but they couldn't equip it until they were rank 8 of Circle of Fortune. And I think that's fine. Yeah, the developers have really looked into what quality of life. Now I get an experience shrine that everything is dead. That's really funny. Ooh. A legendary offhand catalyst. That is not the one I need for... Sorry, unique. I keep saying legendary. It's a unique. It's not the one I need for the special build I'm running. Or the special build I want to move into.
Yes. Take care.
Quiver. I do not want a quiver. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the whole... I don't know if I'll be able to kill the boss at level 76. I struggled enough at 75. But I'm really enjoying the whole concept of how this has been put together. I think the game definitely has some accessibility issues with some of the boss fights. The one at the end of this is definitely one I had to figure out a way of doing without being able to see the mechanics I was supposed to dodge. the way that this endgame echo system works of go in, do the short-term goal, earn the stability to move towards the quest progression, do the 3-stage quest in the area, fight the boss at the end, which allows you to target farm because a lot of those bosses have uniques that you might want for your build, potentially get the items you need that you then can potentially impress onto a unique if the unique has legendary potential. So you feel like you've got a way of moving towards something depending on the build that you're moving towards. I'm not playing a particularly well-structured build, I'm aware of that. This is a build that I sort of got from a guide, but I've modified it heavily, and I'm terrible at making builds, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I beat the boss. He didn't drop anything I can use, but I'm going to defeat the rune prison because did I actually kill the guy? I did. He just didn't drop anything I wanted. But I'm going to try and get some more stability. Yeah, it's a really fun ARPG. It reminds me a lot of Titan Quest in its mechanics, but it doesn't feel as old as Titan Quest because it's not as old as Titan Quest. I am going to need to go through and clean up my idols at some point. Get rid of the ones that aren't as good. But the progression system and the way that, I mean, the nice thing about it is I can do a couple of bits of the echoes, go away, and then come back and do more of the same echo. It remembers where you're up to in each bit. I don't need to do it all in the same row. So I could turn around and say, I'm struggling on this boss, I'm going to go do something else for a bit, come back and still be close and still have all of that progression. So it's not like you have to do it all at once in most of the systems, particularly the stuff that takes a couple of hours or an hour and a half, depending on your build or how far through the game you are or how experienced you are. Or okay, there's full stability. Why am I starting another fight? Open portal, leave. Bunch of gold. Some shards. Transfer the crafting items. So those gloves had necrotic resistance, health, and melee damage leached as health. Less necrotic resistance, but I could get it up there. The health could be good. I don't think so. Freeze rate multiplier and cold. The elemental resistance and void resistance I feel is important because if I look, although my fire and lightning is over and that's got cold resistance. Though I'd lose void resistance and my void resistance is exactly at the cap. and the minion health isn't useful. The ward is useless to me. I don't think that actually helps me. And that doesn't help me at all. I lose vitality and I lose a crap ton of attunement. But I might shadow it for the resistance shards. Though I only got one, so that was not worth it. Okay, so let's have a look at the idols. So this is elemental resistance, but it's only 2 with 4 mana. I don't want it. 16 cold resistance. So that's not bad cold resistance and increased health. That is really good. So I'm going to replace that one. $11 cold resistance. I'm never going to use it over those two, so that can go away. That 9 with 3 increased health might be useful. 6 poison resistance. I'll keep it because I don't have much in the way of poison there. Necrotic is here. It's only 9 in stun duration. I'm not keeping that. Okay. No. 75 is the maximum you can have. So any of these numbers you can see are telling me that I've got 123, but 75 is the cap. So my fire resistance is way over the cap, but I've got a couple of items with incredibly good fire res. But if I take either of them off, I'm below, and the items have other things on them that I want. I was going to do quests. Slay enemies to locate the Scaleborn Swarm Keeper. One quality of life improvement I wish they would add is a setting that it would just auto loot and then auto, or maybe even if it's not auto loot, that shards didn't go into your backpack, they just got auto transferred. Because I think the reason that they don't get auto transferred is because people may want to trade them, but I don't play trading. So, or if you're playing solo or something, I don't know, I just, having them that you have to click on them to loot them and then they go into your bag and then you need to click on them again in order to put them into the permanent unlimited storage, I feel is just weird. Having a setting that they got auto transferred that you could turn on or off based on, it's like, oh, I actually might want to trade some that I get this session or whatever, or for people who may want to trade them can turn it off, but most people just auto send them in. Yeah, I think that would be good. And even to be honest, why aren't they auto looted? Because you always pick them up. Because you have infinite storage of them. Anything you've got infinite storage of, that they really should be auto pick up, auto, yeah. And the only reason they're not auto pick up is like, oh, it might fill your bag. It's like, but it shouldn't fill your bag. You've got infinite storage of this stuff. I also love the number of shrines there are in this game. All this loot on the ground. Don't care about any of it. So, interestingly enough, I posted to their Discord server about my problem with the Lagon fight, which is what I'm going to be doing probably in about 10 minutes. With my visual accessibility, and they've got a community manager, and the community manager responded to me personally within 30 minutes of me commenting that I was having visual problems with it. So see those lightning flashes from the sky that I'm getting here? In the Lagon fight, they happen, and in here I'm getting, like, I find them blinding. In the Lagon fight, which is a darker screen, like, those lightning flashes don't really do anything. They're just there for, like, they don't do any real damage. I don't know what they're there for. But in the Lagon fight, I find when they happen on the black screen, they are just there while I'm trying to focus on looking for lightning effects. They just blind me. With my eyesight, they are just a complete and utter distraction, and I can't see what's going on after them. And I commented on that, and the community manager reached out to me almost instantly. So there's been very good response to that. When I also posted that I had a problem with the fight because of a visual issue, I found the entire community, like, I had one person basically post a semi-negative response, but the entire community was positive about trying to deal with the issue rather than just, oh, you know, you just need to get good. That was not an issue I faced, which was absolutely amazing. Because in almost every other game I've dealt with, and every other community, including the puzzle community, the response was, that's your problem. Including in the puzzle community being told, you know, well, don't, literally being told, well, don't have a visual disability. Yeah, incredibly responsive. If I joined the game earlier, I probably would have sent in a lot more bug report. I get the feeling that the community hasn't been very supportive of the game developers. I've noticed there's a lot of typos in quest text. There's a lot of mistakes in grammar. So you'll notice that highlighted in a different color. So that really highlighted. The reason for that is my loot filter says recolor items with 5 different affixes. This is an item that has +3 to werebear form. So it's exalted, has physical resistance, dodge rating, strength, and +3 to warfare form, and increased damage while transformed. That could be a dream item. Unfortunately, its base is mana and mana regen. But that's 70% damage while transformed. I do not want to shatter that. All of these stats are good. Oh, can I preserve the forging potential? So I can't even bring it up to maximum yet, but it's still got forging potential. It's got tier 6, tier 5, and tier 5. Absolutely, I equip that. +3 to werebear form. 72% increased damage while in werebear form. So if I compare those, I lose some vitality, but I gain physical resistance, which means I can take some physical resistance off that and off that. So I've lost some necrotic resistance. So I need to get some necrotic resistance. Do I need 17? I need 9. Do I have any in here, actually? Actually, I think I want that one. Because now I've got 3 points I can spend up here. No, no. No, go away, go away. That's a really nice idol. I do need to clean up all these idols. No. No. I'm going to put that aside because...
Yes. Take care.
But yeah, that hat... Now, I'm doing quests.
Gods be with you. Good boy.
Bye! I've already done this quest, so I don't feel the need to... Fight off the mariner and save custom.
Hello.
So when I get lots of those waves and lightning at the same time, I basically can't see any detail. And it's a bit of a problem for the boss fight in this area. But there's not much I can do about it. That's a lot of mobs. Like that, I can't see a thing. Hope other people can follow it better than I can.
Yes.
Okay, that's that done. I get the reward, which is just some gold. I go up here, and then I do the next quest, the island battlefield. And then I gotta try and do the boss. Gather the moon fragments. Now the weird thing I've got is if you ever take off an item that gives you levels of a skill, how do you know which ones to take off? Because am I going to forget which ones I added? Absolutely. And could I absolutely triple my build by taking off the wrong ones? Absolutely. So one of the things I couldn't do with the loot filter, and it was the only thing I couldn't, which is I basically want boots to have movement speed on them. And while I could turn around and say, I want boots to have one of these, or 3 of these, I think it was 12 affixes or whatever, I couldn't turn around and say, I want them to have 3 of these 12 affixes, but I definitely want them to have this one. So if they don't have this one, don't show them, isn't something I could figure out how to do. Because while you can build your loot filters based on affix, you can only build one loot filter section on affix. So I can say show based on affix, but I can't say show based on affix and then hide if not, for example. So I can't do chaining. And if I was to turn it, I tried to do something like show all of the ones with the right thing and then hide and then show the ones with the right, with movement or anything. I couldn't make that work. It just didn't work. What do you mean latchkey effect? There's no requirements for equipping gear apart from level. So apart from having some gear having level requirement, I've never seen, like in Titan Quest, where you had to have a certain amount of anything to equip. Apart from class dependency and level dependency, I've never seen anything. Because I think they basically decided that's not fun, so we're not going to put it in the game. Yeah. Now, a lot of items come with a level requirement, but the cool thing about it is a lot of legendary items are usable at level 1. So you could, and stash is shared. So for example, you could, if you wanted to play through a character, look for the legendary, not legendaries, I need to keep this in mind, they're uniques. Look for the uniques that are usable at level 1, stick them in your stash, and then when you create a level that are, at least the ones that are good for another character that you're wanting to play, stick them in your stash, and when you level that character, you'll be able to power through because of the work you've already done. And, you know, that's rewarding for people who are playing through. You can power through to the end game if that's the sort of thing that you want to do. Great. Yeah, there's a lot of really nice thought being put into what did players enjoy. The biggest, as I said, the only real problem I've had with this game so far is it has been designed by people in their 20s and 30s for people in their 20s and 30s. I think they've got an interesting I want to clear this out before I fight her. They've got an interesting desire, and they're definitely interested in listening to the community, but they didn't seek out. I don't think I fought her last time, so I think this is the different decision.
Lagan is unpredictable. I was trying to protect everyone.
So the boots. Yeah, nothing useful. And the weapon. Nothing useful. And now the fight that I absolutely hate. This is the fight that absolutely wiped me out. But I'm better now than I was then. What? It looks different. No, I'm dead. I survived that. How did I survive that? No, run, 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 run. Ah! I loathe this fight. Oh, I probably will die here. Sorry, I'm not looking at chat at all. My hands are sweating. He's gotten faster and I'm not liking it. Got him! Increase health 94% increased health regen, freeze rate multiplier, or increase lightning damage. Well, I'm not using lightning damage yet, but I will be in a future build, but I can come back for that. Freeze rate multiplier, I'm not using freeze. Health regen, shock on hit. It's health regen. It is absolutely health regen. And shield relic. Got him. And I need to rest my eyes after that. But I've practiced that fight a lot to do it. There you go, Keith. You saw it live. Coral Aegis. A shield. Lightning res, shock attackers, less lightning damage, stun duration. That right there. Now, it has no legendary potential, which is unfortunate, but that right there is what I want for my lightning build. Now, why does it have an X on it? It requires level 78, and I'm only level 76. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a stash tab, I'm going to spend this, and I'm going to call this... what's the name of the build? My builds... I'm just going to call it Lightning Druid. That's not what it's called. It's Eternal Lightning. Is there a lightning icon? Not really. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to give it a light blue. Confirm. So this is my Eternal Lightning Druid, and I put that in it. That is an item I want for my Eternal Lightning Druid. So I got one of the uniques I need for my Eternal Lightning Druid. This, however, is not one of the ones I want. But I'll stick it down there anyway. I need to take a break. This has been a 3-hour stream. I got Lagon again. That's awesome. And if I look at my map, you can see now I have unlocked both the Fall of Empire and the Reign of Dragons. So I can head... I've done this one. I've got the two-handed drop rate chance. Here I've got health regen. Here I've got dodge rating. Here I've got boots drop rate. And here I've got glyph drop rate. Doing this one again to try and get XP would be useful. So next up I'm going to do Fall of Empire, I think. And then apparently everyone pushes straight onto Reign of Dragons, but that's level 85 and I'm level 76. So maybe doing Fall of Empire. Although maybe doing Fall of Outcasts again and pushing up Corruption might be something for me to do, because I'm enjoying playing the game. And the fact that I might be doing like lower end stuff isn't really bothering me. Thank you everyone for the chat. I need to rest my eyes. But this has been so much fun. Like, I'm really enjoying this. You can see down here, I've unlocked 7 of the 10 timelines. So I need to do Reign of Dragons to unlock the last 3. And when I've done these last 3, which are all level 90, then I can hit the button in here, and then that will unlock the Nightmare versions of all of these, which are all 100. Which are all empowered. Sorry, they're empowered, not Nightmare. I've completed 7 of the 20 monoliths, which are the normal and the empowered. I've conquered 7 of the timelines, and I've completed 109 echoes. And then, of course, there's the dungeons and everything, which in order to do dungeons, you need keys. And, you know, here are the keys I've got. I've done a few of these. This is so much fun. And as I get more gold, I'll be able to buy more of these tabs and be able to reorganize my gear better. This is just good. And the fact that unlimited stash and everything. I still don't know how you use gifts. I assume you walk up to someone and you trade with them or something. You can see in here I've got all of these crafting materials. So these are all the crafting materials I've collected along the way. Some of these are quite rare, so things that I've only seen one of. So you can see, you know, things like ward gained per rune consumed with runic invocation. So if you're playing a runic invoker mage or something, that would be a thing. Level of soul feast. So these are summon bone golem, which would be a necromancer thing. These ones I haven't seen many of. But things like, you know, health, I've got 136. So my ability to put health onto an item is quite significant. And all my resistances and everything are quite high. So my ability to put resistances on items is quite good. And what I love on this as well, a couple of things that are really important, Heliopolis, is if you're looking for a particular thing. So if I'm looking for fire resistance, I type fire res. There's my fire resistance. I got 50 of them. If I'm looking for physical damage, there's physical damage. I've got 53 of them. If I'm looking for minion physical damage, I've only got 1. So that might be an issue. The other thing is if you're looking for any option here, say I'm looking for how does... so one of my abilities is Fury Leap. I just type in Fury Leap and I... actually, apparently that doesn't work. But I thought it did. I thought you could... But you can go into... Oh, no. If you want Fury Leap, you just go here and you mouse over it and it tells you what it does. But you can see here that you've got scaling tags. So this gets better with physical. So anything that improves physical will improve Fury Leap. It improves with melee. It's an area damage. So anything that improves area improves Fury Leap. It's a movement skill. So anything that procs off movement will improve it. It's a traversal skill and it's based off strengths. And it's got strength scaling. So because it gets 4% per point, and I've obviously got a lot of strength, it does 240% increased damage. And it tells you everything about the skill in there. But you can also look up how does crafting work in here and how do the affix shards work in here, and everything is in the game. How do the combat mechanics work? And if you've got a question about anything, how do timelines work? How do echoes work? Now, I've had questions and I keep forgetting to go check in the guide, but it's all in here. It's just insane. The tag system is absolutely phenomenal. And when you go into your skills system, and I mark in here, Fury's Leap damage deals in a larger area and costs less mana. So that's telling me that Fury Leap will cost less mana when I do it, and it deals damage in a larger area. But when you have a look at some of these things, so if you go to the skills, or actually more importantly, if you go to some of the items, it will tell you what those things actually impact with. So, you know, health increases your maximum health, but if you go to your health stat, you know, amount of damage you can take, but there's all sorts of roll-on effects that you can understand because of the way that everything sort of rolls forward. It's just got these weird roll-on effects that if you spend time reading everything, it just works. It's so good. I do need to log off. So, and take a break. Thank you everyone for watching. I've really needed the company and it's been wonderful. Hopefully people have understood the game a bit better. I'm hoping to play some more today, but I need to go have some brunch and take a short break. This game is just fun. As an action role-playing game, I'm amazed how good this is. If Diablo 4 had this, if it had just been this, and this has been in early release for like 4 years, if they'd released Diablo 4 like this, like an exact copy of this, it would have been the game of the year. It is absolutely amazing that with all of the systems in this game that they could have copied, they completely failed. It is absolutely stunning to me. Thank you, everyone. There is one thing I need to do here. I need to make Keith a moderator. I absolutely, and I probably need to do the same for Heliopolis. Okay. And Eric as well. Thank you, everyone. And that's what the wrench means. Blue name means that you're a moderator. So if someone says anything inappropriate or anything, you can remove their messages and you can put users in timeout. So if someone is being rude in chat or doing anything terrible, you can do something about it. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. Good luck traveling through time, which you will understand if you watch my previous quests or quest playthrough at the beginning, or play the game yourself. As at half the price of Diablo 4, this game has way more content, and they're going to be releasing more. Stunning game. Thanks, everyone. I'll be back in a few hours, and I expect all of you to be in bed. Bye, everyone.